11:40 a.m. and 92.3.
You're tuned into the Not So Christian Show, the show that is faith-based, edgy, and funny, where we have everything out on the table without shame and a no judgment zone, so that we are able to help each other be better Christians. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Not So Christian and Me show on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and the all new 92.3 FM. I'm your host and CEO of the Not So Christian and Me show, hanging in the KYOK studios on this beautiful Saturday with my beautiful co-host, Miss Cece with the sauce, Sierra Sanders.
What's going on, y'all? I am so excited to be back. It's been a while. It seems like I haven't seen this Linda face in a while, and I haven't been in this studio for a while. I'm so excited to be here today, man. Y'all just stay tuned. It's gonna be a great show.
Yes, indeed. To start out this MLK weekend. So since we call Miss Cece with the sauce, I know you got the sauce on what's going on in the streets of Houston. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Okay, so as y'all are aware, it is MLK weekend, you guys, out here in Houston, Texas, and we have so many things going on. They have the 40 Acres Conference going on this weekend. If you still have the opportunities to sponsor a kid, that's the whole goal of the conference, is to continue to sponsor these kids. So make sure y'all get on the 40 Acres Conference website and make sure y'all sponsor a kid. Go out here and attend one of these 40 events that'll be out here in these 4-day weekend. It's so much stuff going on. I mean, it's a lot going on. Whatever. If you guys have questions, I do want y'all to call in today at 281-453-1000 if y'all want to know more about what's going on in the MLK weekend this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Houston is the spot to be at. If you guys are new to Houston, you guys are in the right place, because Houston is a hot spot all year round. It's just growing. It's steadily growing. Well, without further ado, I want to jump into today's topic. Today's topic is living with ADHD. Myself, I suffer from ADHD often, in case you guys don't know. That's why I wear many, many hats, because I have ADHD. For those who don't know what is ADHD, it is short attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. As you can tell, I'm very hyper. You can see me on social media, very hyper. I'm here, I'm there. Everybody always be saying, how you do this, how you do that, what vitamins you on? I'm getting it done by the grace of God. I'm getting it done, but with help and support of my staff and support of my family, my husband and my family. That's how I'm able to manage my day-to-day life. But it is a struggle. It is something I'm constantly dealing with. I'm also especially a teacher, so I deal with kids that have ADHD. But a lot of people don't realize adults suffer from it as well. And today we have, I want to say an expert, because she has ADHD as well, and she be on the move, on the scene. She be doing so much stuff. I'm trying to keep up with her. But she's in the building. Without further ado, please help me welcome the lovely Miss Candace Joseph. What's going on with Candace?
It's a great Saturday out there.
Yes, it is.
In regards to the 40 Acres Conference, I have to say I'm going to speak for tomorrow for Sunday, so definitely tune in and tap in and look, show up and show out. Okay,
absolutely.
There's some great Houstonians that are putting on a great event, and you always want to show up and support. So I have to say, yes, I am one of those adults that lives with ADHD and ADD as well.
Right.
So it can be a struggle, but it's good. A lot of times we sit back and we're like, okay, well, how do you even know that you have this? How do you know? And I was someone that was diagnosed as a kid, but didn't know anything about it. My parents didn't tell me anything about it, but I was working a government job. I was struggling, like, why can't I get through my day-to-day work? Why can't I stay on task? Why am I having such a hard time completing items, or waiting until that last goal line, and then I'm running for the goal, and in the end, it comes out being golden and great, right? So I was like, well, let me go check it out. And I went to go see a neurologist, and they was like, well, yeah, and they came back with all these test results, and I was like, okay. And I went home, and I was pouting. My mom said, well, Candace, why are you pouting? I said, well, they said I got ADHD, and I got ADD, and I don't understand shit. My mom was like, oh, they told you that? Yeah, you knew them. You was keeping
Wow.
But I was like, what? But going back on it, I can see I did have those traits as a youngster, right? I had a backpack that was never organized. I may have one line of notes on one page, another line of notes on another page. You know, I couldn't sit still during class. I couldn't sit still during college. I was one of those people that went in the first 20 minutes of college. It's like, oh, I already read these chapters. Can I leave? You know, that was me in college. So I had to sit back and really look at from childhood to adulthood, how those different traits were there. But it also brought me back to the memories of a kid where my mom and my dad used to take me to these sessions. It was with other kids, but it was stuff like how to play with blocks, how to communicate with other kids. I didn't know that that was actual therapy that they were sending me to, you know, to learn different skill set in regards to, you know, just being great and figuring out how to do that thing, you know, and function as a kid. So I never knew. But as an adult, hey, now I got support groups. Now I have people online talking about ADHD. And I'm like, yes, I am not alone.
Right.
Cool. You know, and the support group goes a long way. A lot of people don't realize that. It really does. And it's helped out. So I had to go back to some of those tricks and trades that I learned as a kid and apply them now as an adult and being a business owner. And like you said, without a team, you are nothing. Because I've been double booked. I've forgotten about appointments. I've had to write down notes. And even as an entrepreneur, when you meet with someone one-on-one, they're like, wait, why are you recording me? It's like, look, this for my purposes, not necessarily for yours. So it's a lot of things that go with it. But I mean, you do what you have to do and you kick in every time.
So what have you learned from going to the support groups and being involved with those groups?
It's cool to see that a lot of people are taking ownership in it and saying, hey, I struggle with this. And it's good because you get to see the other side of the spectrum, people that are in different fields. I've seen doctors, lawyers, and you're like, okay, but one thing that I did notice that there are very few women in a lot of those groups. So a lot of women, you know, it can go undiagnosed in little girls growing up to adulthood, it can go undiagnosed. So I've learned that it's okay to take notes. I've learned that it's okay to record things. I've learned that it's okay to come up with a system where you keep your keys, where you keep your passwords. So like my team has a spreadsheet of every password to every site. I had to make sure I did those other things too, where people might think that it's kind of kooky, but I made sure that other people were on my bank accounts and other people knew when my bills were due. Because sometimes when you're on your day-to-day, you know, grind, as I call it, it's those small things that you can't forget. So I made sure at any given time, you know, they tell me, they help me out. They kick in and say, well, hey, you forgot about this meeting. I rescheduled that for you. And I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, and even, but I will say this, I had a little bit of a superpower with it though. I'm someone that has audio memory. I can read something one time and memorize it. So it's kind of like, it's the strength. So I had to look at the strength and the weaknesses and figure out a way to balance them out. So I had to sit back and say, okay, so I'm not a crazy person for knowing all these random facts about whales. Okay. But it taught me to learn how to be hyper-focused in certain things, but also give myself grace. I never did that. I always beat myself up about things I forgot or things that I didn't do on time. I would beat myself up, but going through it, if you know early, it gives you that clarity when you're working a day-to-day job, 9 to 5, or even in entrepreneurship life. It gives you that clarity and you say, okay, now I know I need to make sure that I write things down, make sure that I have copies of it everywhere that I go. You know, so everything I do, I make sure I double copy, triple copy, CC someone on the emails. If I know it's possible I may forget something, I even text it to other people and say, hey, put this on my calendar. Remind me to call this person. So it makes me more accountable for my own actions too.
Another good thing about having ADHD, we're very creative individuals. We can be driving and we can think of we have a creative mind. So we always have to put it down. We have to write it down or text it or write it. I used to keep sticky notes in my car, but then I left the sticky notes alone and put it in my phone real quick.
Look, aren't these, you know, great mobile devices, aren't they awesome?
Yes, they
Because I
are.
even record audio of myself driving. Like if I think of something, I'll record audio while I'm driving. Or I'll send myself a voice memo and say, oh man, that's a great idea. And yeah, it seems like a lot of times with somebody that's scatterbrained, all of that, but it's like, no, it's just one of those things where we had to learn how to take that and twist it and turn it up on his head and still get that support, because I get support from weekly therapy. I get support from the weekly support groups. I'm even someone that call a friend. Hey, let me call a friend because I'm really struggling today to stay focused. So, that's where one of those tricks that come in is called masking. So I'll find someone like my best friend. She does this thing where she'll call me on the phone, like on Sundays, and she'll say, hey, are we think tanking today? And I'm like, yeah, we need the think tank. So usually what happens, she's working on something, I'm working on something, but I have someone there, like kind of like mirroring me.
Okay.
And so they're working, so it makes me stay more focused. So I get more done. Kind of like, think about it like the old high school study sessions.
Right, study groups.
Yeah, the study groups where you like, okay, look, I want to show them I can complete this too. So I sit there and, she'll call and say, hey, we brainstorming today. And I'm like, yeah. And there's really a term called masking.
Okay.
And if I'm by myself, it sounds very weird, but I'll take an old recording of me doing a speech or me in the studio behind the scenes stuff, and I'll put it on my tablet and I'll just let it play. Where it's kind of like me looking at me doing my work. And I'll sit there and it helps with the focus.
Oh wow! I've never heard that one before.
Yeah.
I learn something new all the time. So that's another skill that you use. That's good. That's good to know. Now I know earlier you mentioned that you were diagnosed with ADD. Tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about the difference between ADD and ADHD.
Okay, ADHD is more so of where you are hyperactive. You can't sit still. Your brain is going in a million directions. It has absolutely no focus. You don't know where you're going. You just know that you got a lot of things to do, but you don't know how to put them in order. And then with ADD is more so of you totally check out, like you zone out. So it's like you could be working on something and then totally lose track of thought. And you say, man, I really like the patterns in my shirt today. So you could sit there for 5 hours trying to figure out the puzzles and the patterns of your shirt. And next thing you know, an hour or two has gone by. So it's a little different. It's kind of like where you can disconnect and disassociate with what's going on around you. And it happens. So the ADHD is the hyperactivity part of it, where your attention span is very short, and ADD is kind of like you get lost in the wilderness a little bit.
Right.
So
come back to earth.
Yes.
Yes. Come back to earth.
Yes. So
how do you overcome that when you be disconnected? Like how you get back on track?
Sometimes I take a minute and I meditate, and then I also play number games for myself. 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. Like I'll do that. I'll do kind of like a counting sequence to say, okay, all right, okay, look, we thinking good today. We all right today. And so then I take that attention back, and then I'll write 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. And then beside it, I'll write down everything that I'm supposed to do that day. So it's kind of it's a trick. You always have to figure out a way to trick your mind back into focus. Yeah, because sometimes it's hard. You like I said, you see a documentary on whales and you pull out a notebook and start doing this, and you go on YouTube and look up videos on whales. And
because if you look at my search engine on my phone, it's all over the place.
Yeah,
you start on one side, before you know you be somewhere else. And I have to go back to what I was doing.
And I think I got like 200 tabs open, and it's a lot of things that come with it. You have thousands of emails and text messages that you didn't see, or you may overlook. You may look at it and say, oh yeah, I got to get back to this person. But if you've read it, I have to trick my mind to go back and leave it on unread to remind myself to go back and, so that's just one of those things.
Right. Yeah. Everybody have their own system, but the system that you're using, I never heard that system before. That's very unique and creative, and it's individualized, I should say, just for Candace. Because I'm like, what? You got to go back and do 1 + 1.
Yeah, you have to keep trying. Every day you wake up, you write down what you have to do, you write down your goals, and you say, okay, how can I get this done the most efficient and effective way? And like I said, sometimes you got to call a friend.
Right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Call up a friend. If you guys need to talk to a friend right now, you guys can call up here at KYOK at 281-453-1000 if you would need a friend to talk to discuss ADHD or ADD. We have to take a quick break, but you guys keep it locked on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and the all new 92.3 FM. We'll be right back.
Denise, you keep saying ADHD. That's how you say it.
Yeah, ADHD.
No, you keep saying ADA.
That's okay. ADHD.
I'm like, you keep saying the A in there.
Oh, add another attention. That's all right. Look, we got two attention.
Listen, it happens.
ADD, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, you done messed around and overbooked a couple of times there.
See, I'm telling you. I'm
I'm gonna talk about the different signs of ADHD when
I'm telling you, it's rough.
that's good.
I'm gonna be
I'll tell you something. That's why I take people with me when I go places. Like, people think that it's so weird. And I told people, I said, no, I said, if I don't have to go somewhere by myself, I don't. You know, especially if it's a big, like it's on a media, right? If it's a big event and I gotta know names and faces, I prep all of that ahead of time. If I'm meeting with a client, I prep ahead of time. Like, you know, it's very seldom that I'll take an appointment same day. Because I want to look at your industry, I want to look at what you've done. And sometimes, so that I don't forget, I give people questionnaires. Let me send you a questionnaire. So I always have the information from you. Being this, yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
All right, thank you, Richard. Oh, you want to ask? Oh, see if you want to. Richard.
Hey guys, for taking my ADHD.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Jen. Hey, Miss K. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have a question or comment or concerns, please call us to the business between 453-1000. You guys know anybody that's suffering from ADHD?
I forget. I hear about this thing. I'm all up here. Talking about ADHD.
right. Yeah, I think you got a little bit of it, y'all.
Oh yeah. I was mad at my parents. Yeah, I didn't tell me.
That was no word.
Yeah, I did not know.
That's only for you. We'll get back to it.
They do 40 or
We'll do 40.
which is just Timmy.
He's a 40 up here. Are you opening the back?
ADHD. I left this last night and I'm not leaving it today.
Where you leave that? Where you?
They need to read that because it was windy that day.
Welcome back to the Not So Christian to Me show on the legendary 1140, on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and all new 92.3 FM. Girl, y'all, I got ADHD.
Yes, you don't.
There you go. Girl, you gonna add another A in there in a minute. ADHD. It just flows smoother when I add an extra A in there. But for those of you guys who are just tuning in, we're talking about living with ADHD as an adult. If you guys feel that you're suffering from ADHD or ADD, please call in to the radio station at this time at 281-453-1000. According to BetterHelp.com, there are 12 signs of ADHD. The first sign is trouble organizing. I have trouble organizing. Problem prioritizing. time, blindness, sometimes get away with us, Candace, right?
Yes. Yes.
Lack of focus all the time. Hyper focus late at night.
Yep.
Difficult maintaining a schedule, Sierra.
Yes.
Starting projects without completing them. I have a problem with that sometimes too. Restless and excessive activity, yes. Impulsive behavior. That's me. Mood swings every now and then, just according on what day of the week it is. Trouble coping with stress, yes, and increased anger, yes. So I kind of like been through all 12 of these. What about you, Miss Linda? You kind of quiet over there. I guess you're all right over there.
Nah, I'm in that man corner. I'm with you. Yes, Lord.
Yes. So when I was looking at this list, when it talks about hyper focus, I'm more hyper focused at nighttime. How about you?
Same.
Yeah, it's like I can't go to sleep because I'm so focused on certain things that I have to do, like my to-do list. It never ends. It's not, ain't no such thing as a to-do list because it never gets done. There's so much stuff on the list that we never we can never get to the end of the list because we steadily adding on something to the to-do list. So at this time, I'm gonna pass it over to Miss Sierra. I know she has a couple of questions to ask you.
Okay. So, y'all, first of all, y'all always know I gotta give y'all a little backstory, a little history. I met Candace in the media world, meeting her in the media world, and she meet me at CC with the Sauce, And so I ran across Candace a few times, and we did touch bases. But it was just that one time where we really connected, and then we never lost that connection. So I'm so happy to see my media sisters sitting with me here today. I really am. I'm so happy to see that. And then when you told me that you had ADHD, I was like, what? Okay, and so first of all, listeners, let me tell y'all something. Do not diagnose yourself. Just because Denise just sat up there and ran down everything. Do not assume you have ADHD or ADD. Go to get some professional help. Go get some professional advice. Let me just tell y'all that. Because looking at that list, I can definitely say, I would say that I have ADHD. Yeah, definitely. And Denise would agree. Yeah. Because she knows how I am.
I know the signs.
Yeah. She knows the signs. She knows the signs. And that's why I had to get an assistant to keep me organized and to do all those things or whatever. I just want to know, being that you work in media, first of all, you're a serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
And you do a lot of things. And I feel like it's some advantages to having ADHD when I look at you. So this is what I want to dig into. Is there advantages of having ADHD being a serial entrepreneur?
Yes, you never forget a name and a face.
Wow, okay.
Right? And I'm one of those people that once I learn facts about somebody, it sticks. So, like an example, right? When dealing with media, you say, okay, well, how do you go to these events? How do you know what questions to ask? How do you know any of that, right? And I prep for it. So I create cue cards for any event. If it's a movie, if it's political work that I'm doing, if it's anything in media. So prime example, me and my team, we did I did a red carpet experience and like award show, right? So I was the person that the person would come speak to if they got that wonderful award and they coming back. What I had to do was I had to take people with me and say, okay, tell me who's coming off stage and give me their cue card. So I prepped cue cards for every nominee. And as they came through the door, everybody was so surprised that I knew their name, but I studied. I studied who they were.
Did your homework.
Yeah, I did the homework. So it was like, give me the cue card. And I was like, oh, okay. They own a graphic design company. You know what? Look, you have the best graphic design company in the state. How did you do? And, and they looking at me like, wait, you know something about background? So it's like, yeah. So I think that ADHD has helped me become focused in this fact of that every time I'm out there, I want to do better than the last time. So it helps me study my craft very passionately, but very knowledgeably. It helps with my everyday clients and marketing where I can assist them with everything that I know that's trending, but I'm someone that reads it, but I also put in the application behind it too. So so it helped in that way. And look, then I got people on my team that come to my house and dress me for some of these events. Yeah. That's even better because I would stand in front of my closet for 45 minutes and still pick out the same jeans and t-shirt and blazer.
Right.
So it helped with media. It helped me learn more about my craft. I think that's really what it did. It helped me really study my craft, zone into it, and then apply. So that was the bonus for me.
So with all that being said, you guys, even if you have ADHD or you discover that you have ADD, you are okay. You are not the only one. And it was interesting to say that you go to these meetings or whatever, and there's not that many women there.
Yeah.
And it's so many under and misdiagnosed women out there, because usually because I believe because a man naturally as a boy, they have more energy. And they, when we get off task, we just drawing in class. You know what I'm saying? We drawing, but we not being destructive. But boys like to get up and be class clowns and do that. So I believe that's why they get diagnosed more than women, because girls we're timid and we're quiet. We may be off task. We could be popping them ear pods, probably listening to music while the teacher's talking the whole time, but they don't really pay attention to us because we're being quiet. They don't know that we are off task. So that's just what I think why so many women are not diagnosed.
And that's true. Like I was a kid. So I would say I'm an introvert by nature, but I'm an extrovert for what I do for business. But as a kid, I was always a person that was in the library. I didn't care anything about being outside. Look, if I couldn't play jacks, I wanted to be in the library with some books. So, you see those things and you look at it and said, okay, I wasn't a hyper kid. I didn't like sweat.
Yeah, I was going to say that bookworm. Yeah.
Let's just be real nerds. Even in my adult life, I don't like the sweat. So I was never one of those kids that had to play on the playground. If the teacher say you sit still, you sit still. But I noticed in every class, for every grade level, I'm like right on the front row in front of the chalkboard. I didn't realize until later that was one of the things that the people, my parents told the teachers, hey, make sure she's always on the front row. Right. And I was just like, oh, I want to sit in the back sometime with the cool kids, but it was good. It was good to kind of see, that. But yeah, as a kid, I didn't know anything about it. I guess it was something my parents picked up on, but didn't want a label to limit me.
Right.
But I was like, dang, if y'all would have told me this, I could have went to medical school for real.
Right. So you guys, if you guys have questions, I know people are tuning in to the IG Live and the Facebook Live. If you guys have questions, I would like for you guys to call in at 281-453-1000. But I'm gonna take a question because this is my brother from another mother. He wants to ask you, which is him. He wants to ask you, when did you understand your value and worth?
I love that.
Thank you, Slim.
Right? I think that one day it just kind of happened. I don't think that there was any, given point where it was like, I didn't know my worth. I think sometimes you know that you're worthy of all things, but you don't really know the value of it and what it really means to your life, right? Mm-hmm. So I had to really internalize and really dig deep within myself. And sometimes you got to put yourself in CEO time out to recognize who you are and really look at everything in your scope of your life and think about the purpose behind that. Mm-hmm. So for me, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I did that. I wrote out a list of things and I just decided I was going to do it and not really worry about if someone else saw the worth of it or the value in it. I just decided to do it. And I've done a lot of things. I've done TV, I've done radio, I've done newspaper, I've done the political scene. It was just one of those things. I even been in a couple of movies. Look, I had some lines, don't judge me. Look, you don't know how hard I studied for them poor little lines. Right. But I think that you find your purpose and you find your worth in your everyday, you just go through it. And sometimes meditation helps, prayer helps, and even taking a step back and looking at the simple things that you love in life, it will show you that purpose and that path, and it'll show you your worth. And my thing is this: be okay with putting an invoice on it. Mm-hmm. Be okay with sending out that invoice. Everybody not gonna, they're not gonna see the value of it, of your knowledge and of your experience and your expertise. But that's when you go and find a different tribe that know the value. Mm-hmm. You gotta keep it moving.
So would you say, like, being that your parents kind of sheltered you from labeling you, right, that helped you when you became an adult? Because I know you say you discovered ADHD when you were adult. Your parents were like, we already knew that.
Yeah.
So like, did that actually help you in a sense that doesn't let you musically be who you are?
It made me understand why I lost jobs.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It really did. It made me understand why I lost jobs. It made me understand, well, you know, somebody kept saying, oh, okay, well, you just don't see the path. I gave you instructions 1 through 10. Why are you putting them out of order? It wasn't that I was putting them out of order. I put them in an order that made sense to me in order to get the job done. I thought a little bit differently, where people was like, no, you just don't know. You ain't got no common sense. No, it ain't that I don't have common sense. It's just that my common sense and the way that I process is different. So it made sense to me, like, okay, now you know why certain things are off task. Now you know why certain things are this way, why you forget. You know, so it was to the point where I was forgetting to put on socks with shoes. And I was just walking out the house. So sometimes you have to take a step back on everything and reevaluate.
And it's okay to be different.
Yes.
Yes.
It's okay to be different. It's okay. Look, I look at it as another superpower. I got my cane. I walk with my cane, and then I got my ADHD. And I tell people it's okay, and be an advocate. When you learn about those things, be an advocate. Be an educational source. Don't hoard the knowledge for yourself. Give it away. Let people know that it's okay for people to think that you're kooky and you're crazy, but you have your own thing. I think a lot of people call me eclectic. Okay, well, I'm eclectic. I'm cool with that. Yes, I understand that I have 50 copies of Catcher in the Rye at home, but hey, every time I'm at a garage sale, I see it. I got to buy it for 25 cents. But then I also give them away. So you take those little things that are about you, those differences, and be okay with it. And sometimes it just showcases. And for me, whenever I'm out and about, it just showcases in public.
When did you accept that?
That part of me?
That part of you, like being okay with it and accepting it and being, you know, I knew you acknowledged it, but like really accepting it and gravitating to that and like, hey, this is gonna be me no matter what. I'm going with it.
In the last 5 years.
Okay, so recently.
Yeah, in the last 4 years, I'm someone that's in my 40s, and it was just one of those things like, okay, who am I really? What do I really want to do? Am I living for you or am I living for me?
Yeah.
Am I okay with all these different things that make me a little out there, a little weird to some people? Am I okay with that? And I had to learn, yeah, it's okay. People are going to see you differently, but it's all about the story you tell about yourself, and the chapters you choose to write about yourself is your journey.
Yeah.
So for me, it's cool. I want people to come along with the kooky Candace journey because I want to go along with your kooky, journey and find the beauty in it. Every day I try to find the beauty in the day, no matter what kind of day I'm having. Find the beauty in the day and find the beauty in myself. And I do it with some little ADHD, and I can't sit still, which was hard for me after I had the car wreck and I was in a wheelchair. That was really hard because I couldn't get up and move around. I'm someone that every Friday I'm used to catching a plane. Oh, I think I want to go to Nebraska today. Let me go to Nebraska. Hey, I think I want to go walk around Times Square in New York today. And then it's like when I'm stuck in a wheelchair, it's like, all right, so how can I do this? There's only so many times I can pop wheelies in the kitchen in the wheelchair. So I decided to study more about my craft and what I wanted to do. And look, I took every certification class out there that I could think of, imagine, and I am very hyper-focused. I'm up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. If I think of something, I got to think of the whole thing. If I think of a book idea, I got to write out the whole outline for the book before I go to sleep, or my mind won't stop.
Right, just keep going.
Yeah. So I just deal with it. I think, a lot of people that's listening now, especially my family, I know they're tuning in. They like, now it makes sense. Now I understand why her mom always had a housekeeper. Now I understand why as an adult she has a housekeeper. And, it's just one of those things. Why she has someone do her grocery shopping for her. Now I get it. It's just one of those things, yeah.
Were your parents diagnosed with ADHD?
Nope.
Oh, no? Okay.
Nope. But, I suspect my dad, have a little something because me and him are in the same. We get an idea, we're going to scratch that thing out. We're going to go buy the resources. We putting together a Tonka truck. We're going to put together that Tonka truck that night. So it may be something that is inherited. And I know a lot of people that are diagnosed has some parent or a relative or a close sibling that does have that same diagnosis. So from my understanding, maybe no, but hey, who knows?
Yeah.
Hi, siblings. Let me know what's going on.
Right. So what causes it?
I can be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know. I sat back and thought about maybe it was because I was a preemie. Maybe because I was born at 1 pound and 13 ounces. Maybe it was something where I was underdeveloped and then something happened. They've had people out there talking about lead poisoning as kids, you know, when you're around different lead paints and things like that as a kid that you didn't know. People say that it's environment. They say that it's chemicals in food. They said that it could be chemicals in hair products as kids. You know, that's one of the reasons why I've been natural for over 20 years. It's just some of those things. And I'll be honest with you, at first I thought I was just going through menopause and this was just one of the side effects. I really thought that, you know, because I started going through menopause in my 30s. So I thought that, you know, premenopause in my 30s. So I really thought that was what it was. And then when I went to a neurologist and went through all those tests and they were like, no. Then I went home and I was like, well, man, I got to take medication. I got to do this. Oh, okay, well, let's see. And even adjusting the medication is hard.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How do you feel about medicine? Are you taking medicine now?
I take 2 types of ADHD and ADD medication. I take Vyvanse in the morning with breakfast, and then I take Adderall at about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with all.
That's why she say, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's probably why I'm up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah,
Adderall,
probably it is strong.
Have you heard of Concentra?
Yes, but Vyvanse worked better for me with the Concentra. I had breakouts from some of the ingredients within it. Yes, I had an allergic reaction, so they put me on a Vyvanse and very high dose, and I live with it. And even accepting that was hard. You know, accepting putting something foreign in your body. And please believe me, I'm a person, I believe in holistic healing, all of that. But I had to recognize the fact that this was bigger than me taking the right vitamins and eating green vegetables and taking sea moss and all those things. It was bigger than that. So I had to really adjust because what was happening, I was losing everything around me and realized that this was the cause. You know, so like I said, I did not know that I had ADHD, but I'm very thankful for the therapist that I have.
Okay, good. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back on Legendary K-Walk 11:40 a.m.
Great information. I got some questions.
Look, all my family is tuning in like on Facebook. They all talking about hi, ladies, hi, cousins, how you doing? Look, don't get mad at me. I got ADHD. I'm not just eccentric like this. I pay those expensive pills every month to get in. Even with the coupon, the main coupon, they're expensive. Yeah, it's all good.
Even my kids. They've been on it. No wonder it's so expensive. I'm talking about 3 people.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you something. When they went out, when they didn't have an ADHD medication, and they were talking about it on the news. That was back in August and September. Oh, you talk about freak out. I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? So I outsourced.
Oh, gotcha.
I outsourced every job.
What you got on hand?
Yeah, I outsourced because you want to still give the best, to your clients. Yeah. You want to get the best job that you can, but when I didn't have medication for a couple of months, I was like, okay. So then I had to go to, I had to do the little baby yoga because I can't do all them poses. So I had to do the baby yoga. I had to have more people accessible to my calendars and things like that. Yeah. It took me a little run. Yeah. I had to figure that thing out and
Only. How many you?
Hard. I make it work.
Oh, well, I got a few questions, but it's okay. I won't let that much time.
Good.
But I bring it back to you. You can open that up.
Okay.
See, so now everybody that's watching Facebook will understand why I was have an accounting degree, but I took the test to go to medical school because I was bored. See, now you understand why. Find something to do with energy. My parents used to be like, why are you not sitting still? Why are you always on a plane? Why you feel like you can't just sit at home on the weekends? Like, you don't have to explore the world.
And you nobody where you going.
I was just Yeah, whatever's the cheapest ticket. Yeah, like whatever's the
I always
cheapest.
wanted to do that.
I do that. I used to do that.
Just go to the airport and see what's
Yes, I
flying
used to
out.
go to Miami all the time because that was the cheapest.
Right.
Because I am not a Miami person unless I'm going to Little Havana, this little sandwich shop I like to go to. Outside of that, Alice Texas can't be on the beach like that. I'm just saying, I'm not going to put all my sisters on that beach. Yeah, that's how I used to do it. I used to just take a flight. I used to go to San Francisco for dinner and then come back on a red eye.
Oh, wow.
Just go to the pier and sit on the
Yeah.
water and get back on the
Like, I know.
And don't know nobody?
I can do that without knowing nobody, but just that those turnaround trips, man, they drain.
But my parents used to get mad though because I would fly to towns that we had relatives there. I wouldn't let anybody know I was
Yeah.
there.
I'm ready, Miss.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What's going on, y'all? It's CC with the sauce, and we are back with the famous Candace Joseph. I'm still in shock that you got ADHD, but it all makes sense the more you talk, because I know what you do. I know all the things that you do. And over the break, you were talking about that you have to outsource your work just so you can give your clients 100%. And I think that's so important. That's so important. First of all, I'm gonna need you to share with me how to organize, like with the calendar. Yes. Help me out. I'm trying to think out my calendar together.
Okay, but I had to find an app. I found an app, and I gave you an app, right? So where you guys can post it to. I found an app that puts all your calendars together. You got the calendar for your phone, you got Gmail, you got Outlook, you got all those different calendars, and then you got your booking calendar. So I found an app that put it all together. And I even have an app that kind of cleans through my email. So I give them like my top 10 people or my new clients, and then it categorizes all of those emails into a folder with that person's name.
I love that.
Yeah, okay, so it's like I had to learn some tricks like that, and I'm cool with buying these $5 and $10 apps a month, if it's gonna help me. But my biggest thing was leaning on my team to help me out, and then giving myself that grace, because I've been double and triple booked, and people be sitting in the lobby of my office, and I'm like, oh, you're supposed to be here too.
Wow.
And that grace is John's unmerited favor.
Yeah, I had to do that, but that's how I do it. And I'm okay with saying if I was wrong. I'm okay with saying I missed the deadline. I'm okay with apologizing if I'm double booked. As soon as I realize it, I call somebody and say, hey, I apologize for that, but I have to push you back, or hey, I'm gonna miss your event. Now I will say this: my team is very good with making sure that I get to paid gigs on time. but we're human. We have to look at it as the fact that we're human. Now, the reason why I'm not going to say those apps online, because I'm not getting paid to advertise those apps at this point in time. But if they want to write a sister a check, I will advertise it all day.
Right. So, y'all, when we introduced her, we forgot to mention that she's into marketing. So that's like her strong suit. I go to her about everything. She should have charged me $1 million by now. But she is definitely the GOAT for everything. So with that being said, I would love for you to get more clients coming your way. So tell us how we can reach you via social media.
All right. On social media, you can just look me up, Candace Joseph. You can Google me as well. I'm Candace the King on Instagram. And just to let everybody know, I'm gonna give my 30-second pitch. Is that all right?
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is one of the ways that I learned to kind of keep, and it brings down the anxiety that I get sometimes with the ADHD being in a room. I give people my 30-second pitch. So, hey, guys, this is Candace Joseph, your favorite business guru. I'm the CEO of the Joseph Consulting Firm, where we make all of your business and nonprofit dreams come true. I'm also the production consultant at HGS TV, where we are home of the live podcast, baby. Look, your voice is your power. We just want you to use it. I'm also the radio show host of the Business Hours Work Hour with Candace Joseph on thebizradio.com. And look, all I do is highlight entrepreneurs that are being great in the world. In my spare time, I marry people and play chess and do a little bit of media on the side, right? And, just get at me, thejosephconsultingfirm.com, or if you want to call me, it's 713-425-0510. That's how you can get at me, or like I said, on Instagram, Candace the King.
Okay, so teach me how to do that.
I know I'm gonna have to do. I'm making my notes like 30 seconds and put everything out there in 30 seconds.
But the thing about it is that your introduction to someone is your most powerful
Yes.
weapon.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, I got short attention span sometimes. So hey, you got to do what you got to do, and you have to be okay with it. And you got to be able to introduce yourself and be in and out in 20 seconds.
I love that. I love that. Y'all make sure y'all go follow her, hit her up. I'm telling y'all, she is a wealth of knowledge. Not only does she have ADHD, but she is a wealth of knowledge. You guys, I hope you guys were able to get something out of this as far as like ADHD. And I just want to give you guys a word of encouragement. And then I'm going to ask Denise to give y'all a word of encouragement because we feel like we suffer from it.
Yeah.
But we want to tell you guys, like, if you do suffer with ADHD, that you are not alone. That's the whole reason why Candace Joseph is sitting here today, so that she can let you guys know that she lives with this currently now as an adult. Like, this is not just something that's in kids. For some reason, people think it's just in kids for some odd reason. But this is something that adults deal with on a day-to-day basis. She said she couldn't keep a job. So if this sounds familiar, I'm encouraging you guys to go and seek help, because this is something serious. And once you figure it out, your life will go so much smoother. Right, Candace?
Most definitely that. And the thing about it is, most people don't recognize that you have to see a neurologist in order to get diagnosed with ADHD. It's not your psychiatrist. It's not a psychologist. And it's not your primary care. It is a neurologist that has to make that diagnosis. And once you make that diagnosis, then you can work with a psychologist and your primary care for all of those medical needs. But reach out, join a support group. It's okay to dial a friend. And it's okay to give people access to information that they need to know about you in order to make sure that you stay accountable. So just do it with love and give yourself that grace and have some fun with it. Rock out.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to say, just take time out for yourself, just to meditate, pray, do something, some type of self-care when there's no one around, just you and yourself. At least like 5 or 10 minutes. Get that time to let your brain slow down and focus on your inner self, so that you can be better to other people. Like they always say, you can't help others with a empty cup. So you have to treat yourself first, work on yourself first, so that you can help other people, and then yourself, of course, as well. Until next time, you guys, no matter what you guys are going through, remember that God will see you through. Stay blessed up. Peace. Bye. I'm just pushing it because it's 1:59.
Yeah.
I was going to say, find me on social media. I couldn't do my 30 seconds.
I got you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me here. Thank y'all.
Great show. We're going to get a picture before you leave.
Yeah.
There was a lot of static in mine.
Oh, you wasn't going to call it. Larry used to use a different one.
Okay. I'm going to unplug it.
But if you had any other question, I want to do like an after show. I used to do it on my old show. So it used to be an after the show, like whatever questions that we didn't answer, we would do it on. You want to do that? What question you had? You have any other question?
No, I think she touched a lot of them. I'll be repeating. But I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, you guys.
Oh yeah, Chris. And thank y'all for tuning in. Okay, so we'll do it real quick.